street life, hustle the lives, and take away the souls. Black Lives Matter.
Dr. Cornel West told me that you can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people. I am not interested in receiving a grant. I am not interested in standing with politicians who do not respect my community. I am interested in justice. Justice for all. We have been standing on the rocks of justice for 300 years. We started in 1800, in which they said that I am a man. Sojourner Truth said, ain't I a woman? 100 years later, black folks said, I am a man in the Memphis sanitation workers. And now here we are again, 50 years later, trying to convince America that Black Lives Matter. We do matter. Power to the people. Power to the people. Come on, let me hear you. Power to the people. Power to the people. So we are standing here in the name of justice. My name is Phelicia Jones. I am with SEIU 1021 Wealth and Disparities in the Black Community, and I am happy to see you to come out and stand with us. It's just not about police brutality, but it is about black on black crime. It is about mass incarceration, violence. It's about housing. It's about health. It's about poor education. It's about jobs. Jobs. It's about this city having an $8.6 billion budget. And at the same time, you mean to tell me, for those of us who need jobs, who need housing, out of $8.6 billion, you can't help anybody? Out of $11 billion in tourism dollars, you can't help anybody? Out of $665 million in tourism taxes, you can't help anybody? Is it all about the rich and nothing about the poor?
Victims of police brutality and fatality here in San Francisco. Asa Sullivan.
My close friend Bernard Peters was shot 6 times in his back while running away.
Renee Robinson.
Alex Nieto.
Ashe.
Leonard Michael Cole. Iris Steele. Almakir Lopez.
Randall Phillip Dunklin.
Dale Wilkerson.
Oliver Lafiti.
Mario Vargas.
Joshua Smith.
Kenneth Harding Jr.
Now nationwide, Andy Lopez.
Oscar Grant.
Alan Bluford.
Antonio Lopez.
Mike Brown.
Ayanna Stanley Jones.
Tamari Rice.
Cameron Tillman.
We get no respect in this city. It is time for us to rise up, speak up, and stand up. Are you with me? Are you with me? All right, then let me hear you. Raise those signs up. Mayor Lee, can't you see? Inequality is killing me. Again, Mayor Lee, can't you see? Inequality is killing me. Mayor Lee, can't you see? Inequality is killing me. And that's what it is. Our next speaker is a young lady who I met in December, a powerful young sister who I support and I think is downright awesome, Miss Etecia Brown.
Greetings, everyone. I'd like for us to take a moment to speak about the realities of racism in this city. The realities that San Francisco is Jim Crow. The reality that San Francisco is practicing racketeering and RICO. The thousands of black people who've been displaced in San Francisco is preposterous. San Francisco has the fastest out-migration of black people since post-Katrina New Orleans. I'll say that again. San Francisco has the fastest out-migration of black people since post-Katrina New Orleans.
Snatch their hoods off then. Snatch it up.
Gentrification is plaguing our neighborhoods. We're suffering from joblessness, poverty, mass incarceration. Our children are being suspended from school more rapidly than any other ethnic group in this city. We are gathered here today to hold local and city officials accountable for their actions. We have demands for the city. We're no longer going to be complacent with the way that they treat us. We are here. We are the last 3%, but we are here. We demand that you stop profiling, targeting, stopping, frisking, and killing black and brown families. We demand of you, San Francisco, that our community review boards are actually effective and have true jurisdiction over the San Francisco Police Department. We want an educational system that exposes the current and historical racism that exists in our society. And we want barriers to learning to be dealt with professionally and compassionately by culturally competent educators. We demand you, in the name of public service, give up 80% of your department budget to refund school libraries, arts programs, and education and after-school enrichment programs. We demand a complete overhaul of the Police Bill of Rights. We demand police officers receive leave without pay while under investigation. We demand an end to the bleed out policy. We demand that you fire all killer cops. We demand the immediate end to the harassment of the homeless. These are our streets, not yours. We demand a stop to all abuse and violence against mentally ill people committed by law enforcement. We demand a stop to all abuse and violence against LGBTQIA people committed by law enforcement. We demand a health impact assessment that lays out how many San Francisco residents will be displaced as a result of the development in the southeast sector of the city and other undesirable outcomes. We demand a commitment to providing accessibility to living wage STEM jobs, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. We have a brain drain happening. The HB1 visa allows for people to come into our communities, work in the STEM industry, and that means that our black and brown children are not being trained to work in STEM fields. So when they graduate from high school, they have no jobs and no skills to work in the jobs that are the largest growing career choice in this city. We demand that 50% of the jobs at the NBA Warriors Stadium Mission Bay development should go to the people of color, and 51% of the jobs should be protected for disenfranchised populations, such as those on parole and probation. We demand a task force comprised of the most impacted community members to devise a plan that will allow for the abolishment of all prisons and instead create a set of community-based responses to violent crimes that do not further criminalize our communities. Today, San Francisco stands in solidarity with the national demands made by Ferguson Action. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., we must rapidly begin the shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society. When machines and computers, profit, motives, and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. Ashe.
So we're going to call up Supervisor Avalos and Supervisor Campos.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. My name is Supervisor John Avalos. I'm on the Board of Supervisors of San Francisco. I represent the Excelsior, the Lakeview neighborhoods, and the Outer Mission neighborhoods. There's a serious, serious disconnect between City Hall and the communities of San Francisco. Serious disconnect. I happened to be in New York City when the Daniel Pantaleo, Eric Garner decision came down. Eric Garner was the man who was murdered by the police, by Daniel Pantaleo in Staten Island, New York. And I saw the demonstrations on the streets of New York. They were peaceful demonstrations, blocking traffic, shutting down bridges, taking over public space. I came back, here we are. I came back inspired, thinking about this is a problem. It's not just in New York, not just in Ferguson, not just in Florida, not just in Milwaukee or Chicago. It's a problem that's also in San Francisco as well. We can't deny that. We can't talk about other places around the country if we don't look at San Francisco, what's happening here in our own communities. Last year, a young man named Alex Nieto was killed on Bernal Heights. Right there, he was eating a burrito going to work. And there were many people in the community who were outraged, who had questions, and found themselves blocked from getting answers. And we've had many, many incidents that have happened since then. A young man on the corner of Folsom and 24th Street, Amilcar Perez, was killed as well. A young man from Guatemala didn't speak Spanish but spoke one of the indigenous languages of Guatemala, and he was gunned down by the police there. And I condemn the text, and the people who committed those texts should be fired. And hopefully they'll be fired very soon. But the texts also hide the fact that we are dealing with racial profiling, racial discrimination on a daily basis in San Francisco. And when we go after the text, we deny that there's any responsibility the city has to deal with the everyday racial profiling and racial violence going on in this city against communities of color. Every day. I get calls all the time, people saying they got jacked by the police. You can't even make a videotape in Bayview if you're black. If you make a videotape when you're black in Bayview, you're under surveillance. They'll watch you. But if you're out there partying in Dolores Park,
and you're a hipster,
nothing happens. Not that anything should happen. But that kind of level of scrutiny is always, always on our communities of color. And San Francisco is no exception. We talk all this talk about the out-migration of African Americans in San Francisco, and we don't do nothing about it except lip service. It's incredible. We have houses, middle-class black families that have held their homes for generations in San Francisco, losing their homes, and the city can't create a policy to help them keep their homes, to create affordable mortgages, how to use our public dollars to fight the banks that are killing our communities. Nothing gets done. Lip service. I'm done. Thank you.
All right. I am not going to apologize for loving fried chicken. I'm not going to apologize for loving watermelon. I am not going to apologize for being black. For nobody. I mean nobody. So Olivia, come on and show us what you got, girl.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. This is something I prepared. Yeah. This one's for the lovers who fight every day. This one's for the shy girls and boys who have so much to say. This one's for the old folk who still act like kids. And this one's for the young ones who think they know everything. Call me crazy now, but we're better than this, so let's shut it down. Call me crazy now, but we're better than this, so let's shut it down. Let's shut it down. Thank you.
Listen, I want to be very clear. If there are people here who believe that everything will be fine if we have our police department address the issue of the tax, if you believe that everything will be fine if we have our sheriff department address the issue of the gladiator fights that are happening in our jails, if you believe that everything will be fine if we have our DA address what's happening with a crime lab where the results are compromised, if you believe that's all it takes, then I believe that you're in the wrong place, because this is not just about that. It is not just about the fact that our law enforcement community, that their credibility is being questioned. It is more fundamental than that. The problem in San Francisco is that we have lost our way. We are the city of St. Francis, and yet in the year 2015, San Francisco finds itself as the city with the fastest growing inequality of any city in this country. If San Francisco were an independent country, and we know that the United Nations actually tracks inequality by country, if San Francisco were an independent country, San Francisco's inequality would be up there with Rwanda. That's the San Francisco we live in. The top 5% of households in San Francisco make more money than any other top 5% of households in this country. To be in that top 5%, you have to make at least $430,000 a year. And yet, you see in the Bayview, you see in Hunters Point, people are being pushed out. In the Mission alone, we have lost 8,000 Latinos in the last few years. We have a city that has 3% African American population. Where are we going to be in 5 years? Where are we going to be in 10 years? And so I'm here to tell you, it's not just about law enforcement. It is about reforming this entire city and how we do business in San Francisco. We need to send a message that we have had enough. That this city does not belong to the Ron Conways and the corporate tech executives that are running this building. This city belongs to us, and unless City Hall stands up and treats this crisis like a crisis, the people are going to take over. We have to take the city back, because whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. It's our city. Let's take it back.